Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you maybe a little bit sooner for this Tuesday album review season 3 recap video. Sorry if you saw that this notebook, of course. That's what I use my well, that's what I look at when I have to look through my list of Tuesday album reviews that I wrote down. But I'm doing a recap video for season 3 finally. Sorry that I had to delay it for about almost 3 weeks, or technically 3 weeks. But I'm gonna get into this video and talk about from 1 to 19, episodes 1 to 19, on what I reviewed and all that through this whole season and let you know what I thought of each album. So let's start with episode 1, which is Rise Against, The Sufferer, and The Witness. Now, this was a pretty good album. I really liked this album, honestly. I actually enjoyed a lot of good songs from it, like Prayer of the Refugee, Ready to Fall. I think my favorite song was The Good Left Undone. That was my personal favorite. I really like how that's playing out. Drones was really good too. The opening track was really fast, and it was definitely good. So there were a lot of good bangers on this. Maybe a few iffy songs, but nothing to the point where I really hated this album. I really loved this album, and I definitely got to get my hands on it for sure. So episode 1 I did was for Rise Against his album Suffer, The Sufferer, and The Witness. Alright, episode 2 is that I reviewed was for Chevelle's Sci-Fi Crimes. Now this was a very enjoyable album. I really liked this album. I wouldn't consider it to be the best thing, but there were a few songs I wasn't sure if I was liking. Roswell's Spell was very good. This Circus was enjoyable. Sleep Apnea I really like. Mexican Sun. Those two songs started off the album very well. So did Shameful Metaphors. Jars is a little weird. I wouldn't consider it my favorite song, but it was fine. Fell Into Your Shoes was a little quirky, but I guess it works. With how Pete's vocals is sounding. Sorry, I kind of burped for a moment. I was actually eating a little bit of dinner. So, yeah. Um, but pretty much, I didn't hate Chevelle's Sci-Fi Crimes. I gave it like I think an 8.5 out of 10 if I remember correctly. It was a pretty good album, so, yeah. That was episode 2 I did for Chevelle's Sci-Fi Crimes. Episode 3 was for Papa Roach, Crooked Teeth. I wasn't a huge fan of this album. I think it was okay. There were some iffy songs from the album. I'd have to go back and look at what albums I picked were the weakest, in my opinion. But pretty much, yeah. Chevelle's Sci-Fi Crimes could have done. Not Chevelle's Sci-Fi Crimes. Papa Roach's Crooked Teeth, I meant to say. I was getting my album names mixed up and band names too, so please forgive me on that. Papa Roach has been that kind of band that's iffy for me, and their latest song, Swerve, was not good. It was really not good. I didn't hear the last song they made called Kill the Noise, so I do have to go check that song out when I come around to it. You might see a review for it this week, I think, if I have the time. But at the third episode I did was for Papa Roach, Crooked Teeth. I did enjoy the song Help. That one was not so bad. Born for Greatness. He does this rapping, Jacoby Shaddix, and I'm just not a huge fan. Rapping, singing kind of stuff, and it just, ugh, just wasn't interesting. So, yeah, episode 3 I did was for Papa Roach, Crooked Teeth. Episode 4 I did was for Metro Station's first debut studio album, which is the self-titled with the song Shake It. The shake, 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 shake it. Here, I thought this was one of my favorite albums back when I was 13. I went through this certain phase, and then when I mentioned in my review that I hated this album, I pretty much told my 13-year-old self, you can shove this up your ass. I was like, what the fuck was I saying then? I pretty much bitched out my 13-year-old self at the time. Uh, it was funny. 13 or 14-year-old self. I think I was 13 when I did buy the album. But I wasn't a huge fan of Shake It. It was annoying. Um, Disco was, it was okay. It was better executed than the fucking album I heard today. And I know a certain individual actually laughed at it. And I was like, okay, alright. I hope I entertained you. Metro Station's self-titled album was bad. It was not good. But it's not an album I'd come back to. 17 Forever was fine. Control was, Kelsey is a little, meh. Wish We Were Older. Now That We're Done was annoying, honestly. I was like, oh, fuck this song. So, yeah. Definitely go watch my review for it. I think you'll get a good laugh at it, honestly. I released it on June 1st of 2021. And, yeah, it was, I had a good time reviewing that album. And bitching out my 13-year-old self and saying fuck your music taste and all that. So that was a little harsh, but I have a different music taste now. As you get older, you start to find different things to like and listen to. So yeah. But that was episode 4 I did for Metro Station self-titled album. Episode 5 I did was for Lady Gaga, The Fame. I think this album was not bad. There were some iffy songs, like Just Dance was really good. Love Game was fine. Paparazzi, I don't know if it's my personal favorite, but it's fine. Poker Face, that was a very popular song, so it's not a bad song. Nothing Else I Can Say actually was a really good song. I really like that one. There were some other songs on there that I can't remember if I liked, but there were some good songs, and then there were some iffy songs from the album, but at the end of the day, I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10, I believe. So, yeah. Episode 5 I did was for Lady Gaga, The Fame. Episode 6 I did was for Disturbed, Indestructible. Now, I did review, I think it was 10,000 Fists in the last season, if I remember correctly, from last year's, what is it? Last year's Tuesday album review season. Sorry if I'm forgetting and all that, but it was a pretty good album. It was probably the last best album, I should say, because I'm going to talk about the Asylum album a little bit in probably in the next video or something like that. But I did enjoy the title track. Inside the Fire was good. Deceiver was very good. The Night I really like. Haunted was great. Perfect Insanity was very good. What's that song? Criminal was, it was fine. Divide was a little bit repetitive and annoying, honestly, but I didn't hate the song. I just gave it like a 4.5 out of 5. And Facade was the final track on the album, and it didn't close the album out very bad, but still, episode 6 I did was for Disturbed, Indestructible. Episode 7 I did was for Sleeping with Sirens Gossip. Now, this one, it was decent, but there was some mellow moments, and Kellen Quinn was not sounding very good in this album, and he was just going soft on most of the tracks, and I was like, come on, this is just pathetic. So, like, Legends was, it was a little unbearable to listen to, but I guess it was alright for the runtime it went for. But not perfect. But still, I think Sleeping with Sirens' Gossip album was a decent listen, but it could have been better executed. So in episode 7 I did was for Sleeping with Sirens Gossip. Episode 8 I did was for Taylor Swift Reputation. This might have to be the last album I'll talk about, and then I'll return to you for part 2 of this video, for the recap video, for season 3 of Tuesday Album Reviews. So, Taylor Swift Reputation, it was fine. I think it was a good album, just not perfect, in any way. There were some problems with it, like, for example, sorry, I'm looking through my notebook to see where I wrote down the. Oh, it's on the newer one. My bad. Yeah. Did something bad was, or I did something bad was a little. Delicate was fine. Look What You Made Me Do. I thought that was a good song. I think it's alright, but it's not perfect. Of me coming back to that song in 2021, I have my concerns with this Taylor Swift Reputation album. Call It What You Want was a good song, and so was King of My Heart. Um, New Year's Day or something like that was fine, but it could have been better executed. Ready for It was a good opening track. Endgame was good, and pretty much this album didn't do so bad, so yeah. Episode 8 I did was for Taylor Swift's Reputation. So I will have to return to you for part 2 of the Tuesday Album Review Season 3 recap video. So definitely tune in for that. I hope you enjoyed this lengthy video for Tuesday Album Review Season 3 recap video, part 1. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon in part 2 of the Tuesday Album Review Season 3 recap video.